Hey, hey. I see we have one person waiting. Oh, Trish is here. Hi, Trish. How has your week been? Um, what is okay, Trish, or anybody else that's here, are you getting a ad? Did you guys just get an ad? Okay. So I don't know if you know this or not, but YouTube has changed and they're slowly doing it to all the YouTube channels. They're automatically adding, what do you call it? Commercials, ads, where they're trying to get you to click and go somewhere else and that kind of a thing. And they're adding a ton of them. It is ridiculous. So anyway, let's see. Ooh, crafting with love. Hi, how have you been doing? Good to see you here. Okay, you know what? Let's just jump in with our question of the day. What has been bringing you joy? I want to hear. I always love to know. Everybody's answer is a little bit different. If I had to tell you right now, today, I've got, my granddaughter is here. You can holler, say hi.
Hi.
You can stay there, it's okay.
Okay.
I don't know that your face should be on the internet.
Okay.
Live, I'm not sure. Anyway, she's over here sitting on my bed, and she's got a little math book. She's doing some math. She got to stay the night last night, and we actually went and we slept in our camp trailer. It's parked out front because we're getting ready to tow it for going camping for Memorial Day weekend. And then we'll come back and we're getting ready to go to Yellowstone. That's going to be a drive because we're in Oregon and we got to go all the way over to like, the Montana, Wyoming-ish. We're going to go to the Montana side. Anyway, so what's bringing me joy right now is that I had an overnighter and Friday evening. She actually has to go, she's in choir, and so she's got to go to a choir rehearsal, and it's like 2 hours long. So guess what? Her two younger brothers are going to come here, and they get to hang out. Now, I don't know, I'm getting a notification on my phone. I don't know if they get to stay the night or not, but it's just a matter of, having them here. It's a joy for me. I love it. It's like, having grandkids is like, I just talked about this a few minutes ago, actually. Having grandkids is like the Lord's reward to us for raising kids. I don't know. It's just my thought. But so, crafting with love and crafting whimsy. Tell me in the comments, I'm waiting, what has been bringing you joy? It can be something as simple as, I have running water, or the sunshine's been out, or it's not been too hot, or something major. You won the lottery, or maybe it's just you have been finding more and more time to be able to spend in quiet, moments, crafting and making friends. Yes, yeah. Isn't it cool how this crafting community, whether it be mixed media art, junk journaling, ephemera, it's just really cool that this community is so kind and helpful and sharing. I love that. So I don't know if you guys know. So crafting whimsy is Trish. Crafting with love is Clint. Now, any day now, Clint's going to be, this is just my thought, Clint's going to be changing the name of his YouTube channel again pretty soon. Am I right, Clint? And it's going to go to, let's see, something about vintage Halloween. And then maybe he'll change it again to some vintage Christmas. Yeah. So Trish says, steaming my floors and washing my rugs to keep dog mud off my clean floors brings me great joy. Cracks my husband up. Yeah. I walked in my house the other day, 3 days ago, Monday. I walked in my house from running at the post office.
2 days ago.
And yeah, 2 days ago. And it was like I was gagging. my house reeked of dog. So I had been babysitting someone's dog over the weekend, plus there's 4 dogs in the house right now. And so that was 5 dogs. And we did get a little bit of rain, not a lot. So the dogs got a little wet, and maybe that's why, but my house reeked. And I found great joy in top to bottom cleaning the dog hair. It was great. And now my house doesn't smell like dog. Yes. Clint, you're not going to change your name? You're going to keep it Crafting with Love? I'm shocked. Trish, this floor chore never ends, and dogs drag so much dirt in daily, right? Do you have dogs that shed really bad? You know, our dogs, they bring me joy. The dog hair, the dog dirt does not. Anyway, all right. So grab your study guide and turn to page 160. Oh, Kiki's here. Okay, we have Niar Designs, and that is Kiki. Kiki, we were just about to jump in, but since you're here, what's been bringing you joy? We want to know. What's been bringing Kiki joy? Just so you all know, in case you didn't know, if you head over to Niar Designs, Kiki is doing, going through the names of God, like we've done before, only she's doing it in the original text, the Hebrew. I'm actually kind of curious if there's any Greek in that, but she's going through the Hebrew, and it's, I don't know, I love it. Trish, you have 2 dogs. Great Dane sheds terribly, but the Shepherd Lab doesn't shed. Shepherd Lab doesn't shed so much? What? You're kidding me. I would think it would be the other way around. Wow. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little shocked. Yeah, so what's been bringing you joy, my friend, Kiki? Yeah, we want to know. And then turn to page 160. It's week 6. And day 1. We did days 1, 2, and 3, which that means our homework for next week, or from later today until next week when we meet, will be obviously days 4 and 5. But I actually really love part of this. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But day 1, I heard that. She's drinking Grape Crush. Do you guys, do you remember being a kid? There was Grape Crush, strawberry, and orange. I used to love them. And I took a drink of her Grape Crush last night, and I was like, oh, it's very sugary. Okay, Kiki. Kiki. Hello. Hi. What's been bringing you joy? It's my favorite thing. I want to hear it. Maybe, maybe Kiki's like, I don't know. You answered? Let me go back. See, I have this technical difficulty in the brain with computers. Because like I'm recording here on my phone, but right below my phone is my laptop so I can see your comments. So Kiki said, hey, Dawn, Adonai. Okay, that's your answer. Okay, right? Am I right? Adonai is bringing you joy. Yes. The Lord. By the way, that is, I'll let Kiki tell you. Kiki, what does ADONIA stand for? And we know it's not English. What is it? Tell us a little bit real quick. Because I know what it is. But I'm wondering if maybe other people don't know. So we'll wait for Kiki to put that in the comments. And while we wait, because it does take a little bit of time to type everything out, but also there's a lag on my end. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but you might see stuff before I do. 2 of you might comment at the same time, and it might come in on your end it's going to always show that you comment first. But on my end, it's going to show who actually commented first. It's weird. So, so day one, Proverbs 25. We kind of have a switch here in Proverbs. They're now being put together by the friends of Hezekiah, where, I mean, obviously Solomon wrote it, but these next collections are put together by Hezekiah and his friends, kind of his court, his closest people. Proverbs 25 actually was compiled about 250 years after the time of Solomon by King Hezekiah. So I don't know if that helps or not. So Kiki just told us it's the Lord or Master in English, but there's more. Oh yeah, there is. Adonai, Father, Abba Father, Creator, the great I am. Anyway, okay. So it actually told us that kind of information on page 160. But here's an interesting thing. I started reading page 160 while I was on the coast at the beach with a ladies' retreat, a church retreat. And I was taking some quiet time in the early morning with my coffee. And I went out back and I sat on the porch. And what I was looking at was the ocean. And I could hear the waves. I could smell the salty air. It was just this beautiful, and here's what I read on page 160. She says, today I want to invite you to think about your top 3 important affairs. Let's see, as these, okay, she says, I imagine your list will include things like family, work, and faith, at least to some degree. These things, they kind of move and shift, causing, keep in mind, I'm at the beach. The ocean's right there, causing ebbs and flows, ups and downs that we have to navigate. And it can become increasingly difficult to act like Jesus when we try to deal with the waves of life. I just wrote a note in my book. It says, I read this while at the beach outside, hearing and seeing the waves. And then I kind of stopped right there and I kind of thought about something. So listen to this. Tell me what you think. Imagine the waves. Have we, let me ask you this. Have we all seen the ocean? Have you all seen how, whether it's in person or on video, something, have you seen how the waves go? And as they come from way out there, they come in, they kind of get this, they break and they kind of get this white top on them. And they, you know what I'm saying? Have you seen the ocean? I'm going to wait in the comments. Kiki, my favorite place on earth. So yes, she has seen the waves. So have you ever noticed that waves, they break? Some of them just roll, but some of them, they break. But whether they break or they roll, they keep coming. Have you noticed that? They keep coming. Whether they're actually breaking and you get the big white beautiful, or they don't, and the waves keep coming. They don't stop, right? And then, taking it a little further, if you sit and watch, yes, the tide ebbs and flows. You've got high tide and you have low tide, right? But have you ever noticed, I mean, obviously, because we're alive, there is some sort of a invisible boundary line. Have you noticed that? The waves only come so far. Sure, during storms, they do come a little bit farther, but in general, it's like there's this invisible line, and they don't cross that line. It's God holding them back. The waves actually listen and follow the instruction and wisdom of the Lord. They stay behind this line. Right? Why? Could I say for our protection? I mean, think about it. What happened in Noah's day? If the Lord did not have that boundary line for the waves would come and the water would just flood the earth. So it's for our protection. But could it be also for our blessing? Think about this. Because God holds those waves back, we get the blessing of walking on the coast, on the beach, toes in our toes in the sand and finding seashells. We get that enjoyment. Anyway, I was kind of processing that as I was sitting there, and I started thinking, life, just like she's talking about, the waves of life can sometimes be hard to deal with, right? The more they break, the harder it is. But have you ever noticed that as we live life, it's a constant ebb and flow of trials and troubles? But just know this, God has a boundary line. He knows what we can handle. Sometimes we feel like it's more than we can handle, but his word promises it's not. Why is it not? Because he knows, he sees us and he knows what we can handle. The key is, are we going to him? Are we looking to the Lord for our strength to get through those ebbs and flows, those things that break us? And then are we continuing to just keep going, like the waves just keep coming in? We have to just keep going. So she says here, when we find ourselves struggling to be like Jesus in circumstances that are either less than desirable or just outside of our control, how do we conduct ourselves? And then she says, join me today as I too seek to conduct myself like Jesus in this messy life. Life is messy, is it not? I mean, there's times where it's not messy, but in general, life is friggin' messy. So let's move through this chapter, knowing that we're kind of looking how to conduct ourselves in these ebbs and flows, and how to conduct our important affairs. Kind of wisdom for interacting with other people, speaking the right words at the right time, how to treat ourselves and our enemies. So the first on page 61. Oh yes, Kiki, thank you. Can you guys give the video a thumbs up? We have a few people missing today. Patty is out of town for 2 weeks with friends. Let's see. We have Margie. And what happens is the more thumbs up you give and comment, the more apt YouTube is to actually allow this weird algorithm thing. Will allow people like Margie who are in this study, and Kristen, and all these people, it'll actually finally share it to them. The less we do this, the more it's going to tell YouTube that this video isn't good, we shouldn't share it with anybody. But really, there's people going through this study that maybe they forgot to check in, and YouTube will remind them. So let's help each other out that way. But I don't know if you have your book here, page 161, the very first thing on it says Proverbs 25, verse 2. And it says this: it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. Now she says this, translation: not everything needs to be shared with others. Bring all things to the Lord first. Okay, I would agree with that. However, I looked into it a little more. God will reveal to us the right things at the right time. So we need to be asking him to give us words to reveal at the right time, the right place. That would mean asking him to allow the Holy Spirit to fill us. Empty me of me and fill me with you, so I can say the right things at the right time, right? But it also is kind of saying we need to study and dig deeper into his word and the little things that he may reveal to us. But if you look at, I'm going to type this verse in really quick. It is John 5. I'm a slow typer, sorry. 39. And then 2 Timothy 2:15. Okay, so I notice in those, Jesus actually tells us to search the scriptures. Search the scriptures daily to see if what other people are teaching you is true, number one, but also, why else? Because we want God's voice to be the loudest voice in our life. To do that, we need to fill our brains and our hearts and our soul with the Word of God. But in 2 Timothy, Paul actually tells us to be in the Word daily as well. So we're being told, given wise counsel by Jesus and Paul to dig in to the Word, right? It's important, I wrote this down, it's important we recognize our need to search the Word and study it. Even if we don't understand it. It's like pouring, I've got some blackberry tea and some water. It's like pouring blackberry tea into this water container. There's more tea here than there is container here, meaning it's going to overflow. So eventually this tea will fill this jar up and then it'll overflow all over my desk. Well, if we are filling ourselves up with the Lord and His Word, eventually it's going to spill out onto others. And God will reveal to us by His Holy Spirit maybe what we have been reading and we didn't understand at the time. He's going to reveal the truth in that and the meaning in that at a later time when it is the right time for us, and He knows what that right time is. Okay, and then going down a little farther, Proverbs 25:14, she says, it says, like clouds and wind without rain is one who boasts of gifts never given. She says, translation, don't overpromise and then underdeliver, because that's what sin does. I'm going to add, don't in pride, to look better, talk or act like we have gifts or talents that we don't actually have. Be humble. There's nothing worse than hearing, somebody be like, well, I tithed 20% and that meant that I was able to give blah, 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 blah. When really, we know they don't even have a job. How can you tithe if you don't have a job? No money coming in means no money going out. Okay, so it's just to look good. Or how about this one? Let's say you put something out on Facebook that says, hey, I'm moving. Is there anybody that might be willing to help? Because the fact is, we need help when we move, right? And you get somebody that says, hey, I'll give you a call and we'll see how I can help and we'll discuss it. And they do. They call you and they kind of figure out, I've got an hour on this day. I could help with whatever you need then. But then you get the next person that says, oh, I'll be there the whole time. I'll bring this and I'll bring this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do that. And I'll even bring food and make food and order pizza and we'll have this. But they never show up. They never intended to. Their intention was prideful to look good to everybody else. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, don't overpromise and then underdeliver. Don't do and say things to look better to everybody else. God sees it. Stay humble. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you this. In your book, your study guide, from page 160 to page 165, that was day 1. Will you look in there? Did you highlight or underline anything? Remember, I asked you to be prepared, one thing on each day, to share with us. It could be something really big, or it could be something just teeny tiny. So will you, right now while I talk a little bit more, will you put that in the description? No, in the comment box. Because maybe you caught something that I missed. Maybe you left something blank and you don't understand it and you actually have a question. It could be the same thing I left blank and I'm not telling you about. It could be the same thing I skipped over because I didn't know, mind blown. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't know how to write anything down. So I skipped it, which I do that because I don't want the enemy to deter me from continuing on. I mean, let's face it. He's going to do whatever he can to get us stuck. So we're thinking, oh, I'm behind and I'm not doing good enough and blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. That is not the point. The point is just being here together in God's word, daily in his word. It is not about the homework. It is not about being on time or catching up. It's simply about hearing the Lord's voice, gleaning wisdom from his word, right? So let me know in the comments. But at the very back, page 164, 165, I really love that she talks about depend on God. I loved that. Trish, I wrote down be humble, which means under promise and over deliver. I turn the words around. I see. Yes, I'm going to write that down. Where is, I got to go back to that. So I'm actually going to grab this pen here. I'm going to put this under promise. Thank you. Thank you. And over deliver. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Anybody else have anything else? That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You know, Trish, there was at some point in my time in my life, I don't remember if I was older than a teenager. I don't know how old I was, but I would say it was at least 20, 25 years ago. Somebody said, when someone asks you, like a parent or someone in charge above you asks you to do something, do it with a smile and do it ASAP. Jump as soon as you possibly can. I mean, obviously there's going to be cases where you can't do it right that second, but do it and do it with a smile when they ask. If you physically can't, let's say, Trish, you asked me if I could come over and help you move your furniture, I'd have to say, I'm so sorry, I can't. I don't have the money to get an airline ticket to come to where you're at. And I also don't have the ability physically to move furniture anymore. But maybe we could talk about and brainstorm how to get the help that you need. You know, I can't do it, but I'd love to help you figure out how to find somebody who can help. But you know, hey, would you be willing to take out the garbage real quick? Yes, yes, I will. And go do it. I hate taking out the garbage. Let me just tell you, unloading the dishwasher and taking out the garbage are my two pet peeves. They're if I don't ever have to do them in my life, I won't. I would rather do any other chore. Like, I'll do all your laundry, all of it, whenever you need it done. If you'll unload my dishwasher and take out my trash. Anyway, okay. So while I'm waiting to see if anybody else writes anything down, I'm going to take a drink, and we're going to turn to day 2, page 166. Okay. You good over there? Where'd you go?
Eating a muffin.
You're eating a muffin. Hold on a minute. Excuse me. Let me see. What kind of muffin? Were you trying to sneak so I wouldn't ask for a bite?
Yes. Here you go.
Excuse me. Do you see what she's doing without letting me know? That is a Costco, or maybe you call it Sam's Club, depends on where you are. Costco Poppy seed muffin. A chocolate muffin. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be eating. I'm sorry. Chocolate muffin. There you go. Dude, thank you for not eating on my bed. I really appreciate that.
I came down here.
Sorry.
I probably shouldn't be eating it in your room, but...
No, you're good. Page 166. Okay. I'm sure if you have your book open, you can see this. But I circled the portraits of 5 sketchy people. I'll just show you. I just circled it. The portraits of 5 sketchy people. Sketchy. What does that word make you think of? Sketchy. To me, it's like, run! Or, oh, dude, we need to hide. Like, dude, that person's sketchy. Just hide, right? Like, get back. She says, don't be like these 5 people. Well, duh. However, are we taking the mirror and letting God's word shine on ourselves so we can then change? God knows what's best for us. So these 5 people, what are they? The fool, the sluggard, so like lazy, right? The meddler. What is a meddler? Well, it says Proverbs 26:17, like one who grabs a stray dog by the ears is someone who rushes into a quarrel not their own. If you grabbed a stray dog by the ears, what would happen? Anybody? What you think's going to happen? I have a sneaky suspicion you're going to get bit and probably be bleeding. The dog may actually come after you, and it might not be just one bite. It might be a continual. Depending on the dog, you may have broken bones. In other words, the meddler, yeah, right, Trish? Yeah, it's going to bite you. So it's an analogy to stay out of other people's business. You know, if there's people having a bit of a tiff, an argument, a discussion, or whatever it is, mind your own business. If somebody comes to you and explains a situation and is asking for advice, that's one thing. But don't go talking to other people about it. Maybe take it to the Lord and pray for them first. And then if you're going to open your mouth and give sound advice, it's going to need to be wisdom out of the word, right? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus say? How would he have you encourage the other person, right? Basically, mind your own business. Don't meddle in other people's business. But then the whisperer, that'd be like somebody who gossips, talks behind other people's backs. But I actually, if you have your book on page 167 and you're seeing these words and it gives you all the proverbs that goes with it, can I add to the whisperer? Let me write this down in the chat. Proverbs 26, verse 28. If anybody has their Bible out, you want to, would you be willing to type that verse out for me in the comments? Proverbs 26:28. And then if you don't have your Bible out and you can't do that for me, can you turn to page 170 in your study guide? No, I'm sorry. I did, because that's where I wrote all my notes. So when I wrote page 170, that was my own thing. So I'm gonna turn. So Proverbs 26:28. Okay, so I will read what my version said, and I was in hold on, let me look. Well, I'm just gonna read what I wrote down, because there's different versions. They mean the same thing. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin. So the whisperer would not just be one who gossips. In my opinion, it's also this person that lies. Oh, thanks. Yes, Trish. Oh, it's the same version as mine. So a lying tongue. So the whisperer, think about most of the time when somebody's gossiping, they're adding lies to it, twisting the truth. And a flattering mouth works ruin. Okay, so I want to talk about that just really quick. What is the difference between being a flatterer and an encourager? Someone who encourages versus someone who flatters. Okay, we're called, the Lord calls us in his word to be encouragers, right? Meaning, you know, with integrity, here's what I wrote. With integrity, I'm going to build you up and acknowledge what God's doing in your life. And I found this, I'm going to write it down, Acts 11, verse 23. Okay, so there's a guy in the Bible, his name is Barnabas. His name actually means the encourager, one who encourages, right? Flattering is twisting things to manipulate, but an encourager tries to get you to be better. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, Trish, exactly. So Barnabas is an encourager in the Bible. In Acts 11:23, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. He sees the grace of God and the favor of God at work in the other people's lives, in the church, their lives and what they're doing. It touches his heart and it excites him, right? So much so that he speaks words of encouragement saying, keep doing what you're doing. Keep going in the faith. He's letting them know they're doing a good job and to keep going. He's pushing them towards better, letting them know he's proud of them. It's making him smile. It's filling his heart with love. He sees the Lord at work in their lives and he lets them know that. Side note, how often do you see kind of that the Lord shining out of somebody and tell them? I just did that recently. It was just, I said to some gal I met at my bazaar this weekend, actually, I said, you love the Lord, huh? She's like, how did you know? I said, because he is just radiating out of you. Keep doing what you're doing. She just had this joy, and the words that came out of her mouth were just this thankful, kind, blessing everyone. It was amazing. So I told her, how often do we do that? In truth, speaking truth, right? Oh, it's okay, Kiki. Not a problem. So I wrote down the difference between being an encourager and being a flatterer. An encourager would be like Barnabas, right? Flattery, on the other hand, it is to cause you to think better of me, regardless of what the truth might actually be. Typically, flattery involves little white lies or big stretched truths, because the one doing the insincere flattery wants something. It's a manipulation. Just like Trish said, it's twisting things to manipulate, to make you see me better. It's all about pride. It has nothing to do with actually the person you're speaking these words to. And that's kind of, I added that Proverbs 26:28 to the whisperer, because oftentimes gossip is part of flattery, but yet, you know, it's manipulation and lies. Anyway, so I don't know about you, but I added that. Now, I'm not going to say anything else about day 2. I want to see, what did you highlight? What did you glean out of this? Maybe you had something you have a question about. I know that, like, for instance, if you don't have anything, what about page 169 at the bottom, the danger of foolishness? Did you highlight or underline anything there? If so, let me know in the comments. And I'll wait just a second. And then we're going to move on to day 3. Ducky, is somebody here? Do you hear somebody?
Ducky? Who's here?
I'm gonna let the dog out of the bedroom while we've locked ourselves in the bedroom.
I can do it.
Okay, thank you. Because I think somebody pulled up and she maybe heard them.
Go girl.
Thank you, sweetie. And then Lucky, thank you. Okay. So, yeah. Are you typing? Is somebody typing? Do. What? Come on. I know you had to have gotten something. Maybe, let's see. Oh, as a matter of fact, while I'm waiting for you, I just noticed something. You know how I added Proverbs 26:28 to the whisperer, the gossiper? If I just noticed this. If you turn the page to 168, she has it under the hater. A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin. It's under the hater. I would say it's under the fool. But no matter how we look at it, it's evil. We shouldn't do it, right? But she also included Proverbs 26:24. Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. All right, so I'm not seeing anything. I know typing takes a while. So if I see something, I'll come back to this page. But for now, Day 3, Proverbs 27, and this is what I was so excited about. Because I don't know about you, but when I read Proverbs 27, there was a lot in there about friendship. Like dealing with friendships. And that excites me. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of what I would call close friends, Bible-believing, God-fearing, wise, or at least want to be wise friends. I have some, don't get me wrong. But I have found that going through this study, as we seek God's wisdom, I've been actually asking the Lord more to help me be a wise friend and place wise friends in my life. And he's been doing that. And it excites me. So when we got to this, dealing with friendship, I was like, yes. So she starts off, and I just simply circled, people matter. And then, number 1, does my life reflect the truth that people are more important than things or tasks? Does my life reflect that? Am I doing the hard work to foster and grow healthy relationships in my life? And how can I prioritize someone in my life today who needs me to show them love? And here's what it boils down to. It is because Jesus prioritized people. Did you ever notice that? I mean, the guy walked around with no shoes, probably what we would consider nowadays a bed sheet wrapped around him. It's not like he had a backpack with all these supplies and all this stuff. He put people first. Because Jesus left heaven to be with people. Because Jesus gave his life for people. So we should then follow suit. If we want to be wise friends, we need to follow in the footsteps of Jesus. We got to stay humble and remember that God is in control, even in our friendships, right? So can we talk about being a good friend for just a minute? But first, the pre-talk would be on page 172. Question number 1. She says, Psalm 27, verses 1 and 2 reminds us of the importance of staying humble in 2 ways. We can make plans, but it's the Lord who orders our step. And seek the Lord's well done before the praise of man. She then says, go back and read Proverbs 16:3, and then Psalm 37, 5 and 6. What further instruction are we given here in regard to making plans? Well, Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. So maybe commit your friendships to the Lord, and your friendships will be established by the Lord. Psalm 37, 5 and 6, commit your way to the Lord and trust him. So we have to trust him in our friendships. We have to trust that he's going to bring us friends and make us a friend that would be a good friend, considered a good godly friend. But I added to it Colossians 3 verse 23, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not to men. So I would say that would apply to our friendships as well. What are you doing now? Oh, never mind. More grape crush. So our friendships, commit our friendships to the Lord and what we do and how we do it with our friends. And not try and please men, but please the Lord, right? How do we be a good friend? Are we realizing the importance of having relationships with those who challenge and refine our character? Let me ask you that again. Being a good friend, having good friends, do you realize there's going to be some challenges? It's important to have relationships where there are a little bit of sparks that fly. What do I mean? Okay, let's dig into this friendship thing. Okay, and this is really good. Proverbs 27, 5 and 6 gives us a few insights about good friendships. A true friend will tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. A true friend is going to speak truth in love, and their words will be intended to build you up. They care. So they're going to encourage, build you up. They want to see you be better, do better, know the Lord more, know how much you're loved. They want to see you embrace grace and mercy, know the Lord more. Okay, but Proverbs 27, 5 and 6, let's read it. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Okay. She says here, still, an open reprimand can be hard to receive, even when it's constructive and honest. Do you receive constructive feedback well? Who are the friends in your life who speak truth to you, even when it's hard to hear? Do you have any names written there? Did you do what she asked, sending them a message thanking them for being a good, godly friend in your life? So, if I wrote down here, if I truly care about you, I'm going to encourage you. Yes. But I'm also in love, going to deal with your weak areas, your sin areas, where I see growth needs to happen, because I want to see those areas be corrected in your life, because I want what's good for you, what God wants for you. I need to care enough about you to point out areas that need change. That's going to be hard. But I also wrote this down. Let's treasure the friends that occasionally wound us in love. Let's be loving enough to build each other up in all areas of life, even if it sometimes stings a little bit. Because if you now look at Proverbs 27:17, you know what it says? It says, iron sharpens iron. So a friend sharpens the countenance of his friend. Iron sharpening iron. Have you ever seen metal sharpening metal? Iron sharpening metal. Do you know what happens? Red sparks fly. Hot sparks fly. So further wisdom on being a good friend. The wise cultivate close relationships that can be depended upon in times of need. A good friend brings deep joy to the heart, but also sharpens us. We sharpen others. It's inevitable that sparks are going to fly. And I wrote down here, it's a part of biblical, genuine friendships. Be aware of how you respond to this when little hot sparks fly. How do we respond? We need to realize we're being sharpened or refined, which creates growth. It's a good thing. Yes, encouragement is great because somebody's seeing the Lord work in our lives, the grace and the favor, but we also need that correction. But we got to make sure we're speaking truth in love. We don't want to hurt feelings. We don't want to offend people, even though that happens anyway, but we want to do it in a loving manner, right? It's hard, but it's good for us. But that iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens the countenance of his friend. What does the countenance even mean? There is in Numbers, there is this thing that the Hebrews used to pray, and the Lord bless thee, the Lord keep thee, the Lord make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee, and be gracious unto thee. It's a song, and I'm trying to go through it. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. So the Lord's countenance is favor, mercy, grace, love. It is this deep, warm, fuzzy admiration of his children. So if iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens the countenance of his friend. So maybe that would tell us, keep an eye on the look on our friend's face. If you are sharpening your friend, pointing out their weakness, where they need to change, and you see a look on their face that tells you they're mad, they're hurt, they're upset, they want to cry, you need to then remind their heart of how deeply they're loved, the favor of God, the goodness of God, and the grace of God, and of you, that you're only saying it because you love them and you want to see better and growth, and it needs to be loving and kind. You may need to wrap your arms around them and hug them and tell them just how much you love them. Pay attention to the countenance, the body language, because the last thing we want is to say something accidentally, trying to mean well, that is going to break someone's spirit. You're going to lose a friend, unfortunately, right? But I also know that sometimes it's hard to speak those words to somebody. And so we don't, in fear of their anger, in fear of them pulling away from us, in fear of losing them as a friend. Maybe it's a child, an adult child, and you're afraid that they're going to then pull away. So then we don't say anything. Is that loving? I don't think it is. I don't know about you, but when I say and do things that I don't, okay. Resting bitch face is a thing. The look, there's nothing wrong at all. You just have the look on your face of, stay away from that person. Or maybe you have a natural angry look on your face all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be confronted. And actually, maybe somebody ought to say, hey, so you need to pay attention to your facial expressions, because sometimes you come across as mad at me or angry, and it hurts my feelings. I feel bad. I wonder what I was doing wrong. When really, it's nothing. It's just that resting face, right? We need to be aware of how our facial expressions and body language is, as well as other people's. I really want to be that good friend. I want to know how to speak truth and love, to build others up, but to help them, point them to the Lord and be better, because I want that. I want somebody to be able to come to me and say, hey, here's how you need to change. Most of the time, if I do something on accident that it hurts your feelings and you come to talk to me about it, I'm probably going to cry because I feel bad. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to have resting bitch face and make you think I'm pissed at you. You know, my tone of voice, sometimes I use a horrible tone of voice. I don't even know I'm doing it. So I really make somebody mad when I was actually trying to be nice. And I just had, we're human. We're not perfect. But talking through it can help us be better and do better and learn. Now, somebody who doesn't care and doesn't want to do any better and doesn't care about being better or being a better friend, yeah, they're going to be mad and you probably won't ever hear from them again. But you know what that means? The Lord maybe has something better or someone better for you in your life. When the Lord takes away, he also gives. There's a Bible verse, the Lord gives and takes away. We have to trust that he knows what's best for us, even in friendships, even in relationships. So anyway, I wrote down a couple more Bible verses that talk about this friendship thing. Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 and 10. Two are better than one because they can help each other and lift each other up. Hebrews 10, verses 24 and 25. Let us consider how to spur one another on to love and goodness. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 11. Encourage and build each other up. Ephesians 4:15. Speaking truth in love. All that can be very, very hard. So how do we even go about it? We ask the Lord to help us. We ask our friends to go ahead and correct us, give us advice, help us to be a better person, someone who is walking in the footsteps of Jesus. None of us are perfect. We all have growth that needs to happen, right? So if we're helping each other out, I think that would be a good thing. But there has to be a balance. You can't always be talking the negative, the weaknesses, here's how you need to change. There has to be an encouragement. So look for ways to encourage your friends and other people in things that when you see it is godly characteristics or good in them. Iron sharpening iron, mutual growth. Both parties in the relationship are improved through grace, truth, and love. So that's what I got out of the whole chapter. What about you guys? Was there something that you really, found? Maybe it was page 175, talking about moderation is the way of wisdom, how our appetites, whether it be for things or food, can control us, and we shouldn't let them. We need to actually control our appetites. That appetite doesn't always just mean food. I mean, I noticed we were created by God with appetites. You know, if you haven't eaten in a while, your belly, it tells you you're hungry, or maybe you've waited too long and you're hangry. We were given an appetite to put food in our body. But did you notice that we're also given a spiritual appetite? We were created to take in the bread and water of life, and that is the Word of God, Jesus. We need that word to fill us spiritually. Maybe you've been feeling, far from the Lord. Like you don't hear him speaking, you're not feeling him, you're just not getting it. Could it be you just simply need to sit for 5 or 10 minutes a day? Maybe it's 3 or 5 times a day to be in his word, to hear his truth about who you are and how much he loves you. Trish says, our hearts show our true intent. Sometimes it's hard to be around family members who might be foolish. Yeah. She's talking about page 174, number 6. Am I right? Page 174, number 6. Proverbs 27:19 reminds us that the heart reflects the person. Now, I want to correct something real quick. The next thing she puts here is a person's heart defines his true identity. I'd like to say, a person's heart shows the true identity. Because the word define, a person's heart doesn't define our true identity. I'm here to tell you, God defines our true identity. I think she didn't really think, it wasn't meant the way it sounds in this book. But for me, my brain says, no, my heart does not define. My feelings do not define my true identity. Only God does. I am chosen. I am forgiven. I am dearly loved. I'm treasured. Just read Ephesians chapters 1 and 2 to find some of your identity, okay? Your heart shows your identity. What's been down in there, right? Our intent, maybe is a better word, like Trish said, instead of our identity. And if you looked up those verses, and they say God doesn't see people as we do, humans do. He sees the inward appearance, where we tend to look at the outward appearance of people. It says, let's see, a good man brings good things out of the good stored out of his heart. An evil man brings evil out of the evil stored in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it, is another one. So, somebody's riding a dirt bike.
Somebody's riding a dirt bike.
Oh, it's Dustin. It's Dustin. He's on the little one. To be like Jesus, we need to look at the inner part of other people. Not what they're wearing, what they look like. And we need to fill our heart with God's love, right? So we can see other people how he does. We need to look at each other through the lens of God. How do we change our heart? And what then comes out? How do we change how we see others? What we put in comes out. What we put in will eventually flow out. If we want what flows out to be kind and loving and grace-filled and full of mercy and love, and to be like Jesus, we're going to have to pour Jesus in. And the way to do that is being in his word, which is what we're doing in Proverbs, What did you guys put as your answer for number 7 on that page 174? This will be the last question, and then we'll go to praise reports and prayer needs. So question number 7 said this: human praise can affect the heart. Too much of people praising us, and we can very easily become proud and full of pride. It's how we respond to the praise of people that we receive. That's what matters. How are we responding when people praise us? Proverbs 27:21 is yet again another reminder for us to remain humble. So here's the question: how can you safeguard your heart from pride while receiving human praise? Kiki, to be honest, I'm having difficulty. I'm having a hard time reading. To be honest, I'm having difficulty with the word annoying, because what could be annoying to me might not be to others, and true of the opposite. I understand what she means, but oh, yes. Yeah, Kiki, I agree. Yes, I totally agree with you there. So the answer to number 7, Trish put, be gracious and give glory to God. Yes, I put, give God the honor and glory and thank him for working through me so that people see him through me. Yeah, I love that. So here's my question. Do you guys have any praise reports? Oh, ouch. I know, and prayer. In the comments, prayer needs, and praise reports. You don't have to give major details. Let's say Uncle Joe needs prayer. You know all these details and you don't want to give them. Fine, just put Uncle Joe. Because really, it's not important that we know all the minute details. God knows them. God knows our name. He sees. He knows. But it is important that we be praying. Kiki, always give praise first. Yes. So that's kind of how I am. And I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this, but here's why. If you look in the Bible, no matter what was going on, especially the Old Testament, okay, praise always led the way. The Lord set it up so that the tribe of, was it the tribe of Levi? Kiki? I don't remember. There was a tribe that always led the way whenever they were traveling, even when the Israelites traveled through the wilderness, and they would lead with praise. Praise went first into battle. Praise went first in the jungle. Praise went first in the good and the bad. Praise first. Prayer is important, but praise brings God glory, and he deserves all the glory. And praise focuses us on what's most important, God. Because sometimes when we're praying for people, we're asking God to intervene. We are asking for results. But first, we need to let God know that we're praising him, even if there are no results, even in the trials and tribulations, right? Even in the hard crap of life, the stinky stuff. Praise needs to lead the way. Kiki, I'm pretty sure if it was the tribe of Levi, was it? The tribe of Levi was the priests. Oh boy. See, sometimes things just they fly out of my brain. But praise always led the way. So yes, praise reports. Trish, my neighbor started being a good friend to my husband after years of my husband's good friendship. Please pray for my sister. She needs more than I can pray for. Yep. Prayer request for my mother-in-law. Yes, still. Kiki, shall we be praying for your husband as well through this? And you? Because I know y'all are taking care of her, right? Having to go, is it still back and forth from the place that she's at? Or is she there with you guys now? Because I do know you said that you had to be right back. You had to, your mother-in-law needed you for a second. So she must be there now. So that's a praise report. She's no longer in a facility that you have to go to, is my assumption. I don't know for sure. So I'm going to say, let's be praying for each other that we can be God-fearing, true friends to other people. That the Lord would place in our lives the people who need us in that. That we could really be the type of friends that he's calling us to be here in Proverbs, that we could be those wise friends for other people, but also that maybe the Lord would place those kind of friends in our lives, because I don't know about you, but every day I need that. I need friends who just love the Lord. And for me, I need some that even have this joy, of the Lord. I understand that we can't always be this. What are you doing? Your math? Are you doing your math?
I did my math.
Do one more page of math. We're almost done. Anyway, we can't always be this hyperactive. Not everybody's a Tigger. Some are an Eeyore. Some are a Kanga, a Roo, Owl, Winnie the Pooh. Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Chubby little tummy all stuffed with what is Winnie the Pooh. What Winnie the Pooh character are you? Embrace it. I'm the Tigger.
Eeyore.
You're not Eeyore.
I'm not an Eeyore. I think.
Shh. Don't tell. I think my husband is probably Eeyore sometimes. sometimes, more often than not. Not always,
I
no.
think I'm a
But
Roo.
you think you're Rue. Kiki, yeah, okay, she's home and you're the one taking care of her. I thought so. Is your husband home from Oregon? Which, by the way, you tell your husband he's not allowed to go to Oregon unless he takes you, at least for a little while. There's an airport 20 minutes from my house. It's a little one. It's not like the Portland airport that's gigantic. It's just, I'd come and get you. I have an extra car you could drive and go gallivanting if you wanted to, or you could hang with me. Yeah, hello, come see Dawn in Oregon. Anyway, grateful she's home and is getting better. Yes, I agree. Boy, because that's hard. But okay, so the other thing I would say we could be praying for each other is that we would have this desire and appetite for knowing the Lord and digging into his word more. I guess there's a song, and this is kind of my what we should be praying for each other. Empty me of me and fill me with you, Lord, to make me more like Jesus. Other prayer needs on this end, I would say okay. I don't know if you have heard of, I'm going to type this in, oh my goodness, my typing skills. Journaling Jen. She's been fighting cancer for 3 years, and at this point, they are seeing improvement. But there is some financial help she needs prayer for. Just in general, be praying for her. And then finances on this end, we have some taxes to file, and we're gonna owe, and we haven't filed yet, and it's a financial thing. You got to have the money to do it. So I would love prayer for finances. The Lord is providing, don't get me wrong, but we need that extra to be able to, there's extra stuff that is big. So finances, I would love prayer for that. Oh, tickle in the throat. By the way, pure leaf blackberry tea, it's okay, but I wouldn't ever buy it again. I'm not a fan. If I lived in the South, I would be so happy because I'd have iced tea all the time. I don't really know how to make iced tea. If y'all want, I know we're doing prayers and praise, but if y'all want to help me, help a girl out, maybe come back when you have time and type in the comments, let me know how to make iced tea. I know it sounds dumb, but you put the water in the thing, and then you put the tea bags in the thing, you put it in the sun, and you let it sit for the blah, 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 blah. You bring it in, you take the tea bags out, you throw them away, or don't throw them away because we're junk journalers. You dry them, hang them to dry. And then you put sugar in the tea. No. Sugar doesn't dissolve in cold tea, and I don't know how. I don't know what. I can make it a million different ways, and it doesn't taste right. I'd love to know how to do it for any of you that know and make good tea. So there's that. Kiki, personal prayer, financial and strength. Grandma used to make sun tea, which was amazing. We went to Tennessee to visit. My kids and grandkids had gone to Tennessee temporarily to visit family on my son-in-law's side, and they were gone a lot longer than we thought. It was one of those truck broke down, blah, blah, blah. We had to get on I had to get on a plane and go and see them just for an overnighter. It was
Grampy did too.
hard, but yes, Grampy went too. But the sun tea I had there, the tea, I have never, ever, ever, ever in my life had anything that good. So anyway, yeah, you gotta, like making hummingbird food, you gotta put the sugar in when the water's hot or warm, right? But I don't know anyway, I don't know. So tell me in the comments. But that is all. We will come back next week and we are going to do, let me look at day 4 and day 5. A week to do that. Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, day 4 and 5. And then we will be at week 7. So, our week 7 is the end of our study. So be thinking about if you think we should go back through this and maybe, or do a different study, or maybe take a break for the summer and come back and do this study all over again and do it differently, like maybe the inductive Bible study way, where you observe, read and observe what's going on, where's God in the verses, interpretation, the context and meaning, application. How does it apply to my life now? How can I apply it? You know? Anyway, so be thinking about that. And I will see you guys next Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Really hoping it's going to be alive. I have it scheduled. If it changes for some odd reason, be looking for a premiere. But either way, 11 o'clock, it'll happen. Trish, to make sweet tea, you need to bring water to a boil, add sweetener, tea bags, let it cool, serve over ice. Yeah. So Kiki, starting from the beginning again, if we do that, I do want to do it a little bit differently. I don't know what that would look like, but I'd love to do it as a more, like, okay, so, you know, there's so many days of, I think there are 5 or 6 days of homework in each week. Take one day of homework and dig deeper. And then the next day would be the second day. I don't know. Anyway, I want to do it a little bit differently. Whatever that's going to look like, I don't know. But you guys, don't forget, I'm going to write this down in the www.neuething.org. Okay. That is our author, Sherry Wagner. That is her ministry's website. So you can go there. If you sign up for her emails, I promise you're not going to be spammed and scammed and all the things. But she is going to email you when new podcasts come out. She's going through Proverbs all this year. So that means a little bit of a digging deep. As a matter of fact, you guys, whatever podcast came out today, I haven't listened to it yet, but you bet your buns I'm going to. And it's kind of cool because there's a little bit more in depth. She doesn't necessarily follow this timeline. Like, I think right now she's still in Proverbs 6. But the other thing, by going to her website and signing in, you're creating a sign-in thing and getting the emails. She will then send you emails and alert when, like, maybe new studies come out, or she's doing giveaways, or when there's a financial need, she needs donations, or there are things, speaking events going on. Do you know that's how I met her? A friend of mine was friends with her. They lived in Arizona together. One friend moves to Oregon, so of course she then comes to visit here and there. I happen to go to the same church as this gal, Jessica. I'm friends with Jessica. I'm cleaning Jessica's house. I owned a business there. That's what I did. And I'm friends with her. And one day, Jessica tells me, hey, Sherry's coming into town, a friend. I'd love for you to meet her. And she's speaking at this event. We're doing a women's retreat. You want to go? Sure. That's how I met Sherry. Sitting at her feet, being taught by her. And I love that she points you back to the word, that everything is all about Jesus. Um, her whole thing is seeking to equip, empower, and encourage women in the word of God. And I have been very blessed by all of her studies, and I do them multiple times a year. So go look at her website. Anyway, and maybe if you have time, I think I had told you, I'm going to go back here in my notes really quick. Because the podcast episode, I think, okay. I'm fairly certain if you've never gone to New Thing Podcasts, which, by the way, Spotify, iTunes, wherever podcasts can be heard, I think you're going to want to start with episode number 75. And that I'm pretty sure that's where Proverbs starts. 75, and is she on maybe 80? It comes, there's one that comes out every 2 weeks. Anyway, there's that. I would definitely highly encourage you to do that. Okay, guys. Thanks for being here again. Thanks for commenting. For clicking that thumbs up. For sharing this podcast. No, it's not a podcast. It's live. I tell you what, if I knew how to do podcasts where you don't have to see me, I don't have to worry about, do I got a booger? Am I good? How's my hair? Right? I do that. I would much rather just talk and be able to see your comments and yeah. If we could do this on Zoom. I don't know how, but I'm sure I could figure it out. What do you guys think about if you could help? You could go through it with us. What if we do this together in a Zoom where we can actually see each other, talk to each other? We don't have to try and type all the things. I don't know. It's just a thought. Be brainstorming. When you get ideas, let me know in the comments. All right, guys. I love y'all. I thank you for being here. Can I remind you? You are dearly loved. Heaven is not, it's not just that heaven is your inheritance, that Jesus is your inheritance. Did you know that you are his? Read Ephesians chapters 1 and 2. Go slow. Get a highlighter and underline where the Lord tells you who you are and what you are to him. You are a treasure. Like a pirate who has been looking for many, many years for this treasure, guess what? You are that chest full of treasure to the Lord. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.